up, everybody, and welcome to BEMP on the Spot. As always, I would like to remind you to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Show your support in any way you can. As you can see our website here. We got all of our social medias up there. Go ahead and get at those because you never want to miss another episode. Make sure that you're here and you tuned in for everything that we've got. Now, first and foremost, I would like to apologize to our viewers. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, we did miss out on what would have been an excellent interview with Colby Young, the Miami Hurricanes wide receiver, right? He's a breakout wide receiver. He was excellent last year. He's going to have another great season this upcoming year. He was the top deep threat. He caught 5 of 15 he caught 5 of 15 of all of the Hurricanes deep balls. He's a big time player. He's going to be excellent next year. We do have a couple of his highlights though, so go ahead and tune into those. Let's get it.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they say yeah, and they say yeah, and they say yeah. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in,
into the end zone. He just loaded it into the waiting arms of Colby Young. And number 9 and number 88 combine again for the U's.
Well, we weren't able to make that particular interview happen last week. Don't worry, it's in the works. Hopefully, we can bring him back sometime, possibly next season, right? But we did have a great interview with Mark Evans week 1. We kicked off the season with Mark Evans. And one thing that we did have wrong, he is a 4-time first team all SWAC offensive lineman, right? 4-time, not 2-time. 4-time. The man is a dog. Every year he was in school. Can't forget that. He is an excellent player. We do have a clip from that show. Go ahead and check that out.
all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, and you stay there. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody.
Now, you just declared for the NFL draft a couple weeks back. What was the feeling for you? Because you think about your entire journey up to this point, right? Not everybody gets into a position where they're able to do what you're about to do, right? So when you think about, from the 7th grade all the way up to now, all that work that you put in, what's the feeling for you when you finally had the opportunity to write those words that you're declaring for the 2023 NFL draft? What was that feeling like for you?
The feeling was amazing. I was going back and forth for trying to find the right words, just trying to thank my school, UAPB, first of all, for giving me that chance to, go and, pursue this dream that I have. But, I wouldn't just say go back to 7th grade. I say go back to, all the times we was going through, struggling, just being young, just all the things I had to go through, persevering, just throughout my whole life. So I feel like, just having to be able to be in this spot to, potentially, take care of my family and everybody around me, it's kind of just amazing just to be, in that position, to be able to, pursue my dream and stuff. It's just amazing because, a lot of people telling you, a lot of people doubting you and that type of stuff, it kind of feed into you. So, it's kind of easy to, listen to what people saying and be like, oh man, but maybe they saying this, I can't do this, I can't do that. But, it take a really mentally strong person, to listen to all that, just let it roll straight off your back and use it as motivation until, prove them wrong. And I feel like, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, proving them wrong and kind of standing as a symbol of, don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. because you can do it if you put your mind to it at the end of the day.
Now, Mark is, I apologize, everybody. There was a little delay there. Mark is a great dude. You understand what I'm saying? Everything that he's done up to this point. He's an excellent individual. I actually just had the opportunity to talk to him the other day. Nobody deserves it more than him, and I know nobody's going to work harder than him once he gets to that level, right? But I also want to remind you all, on Tuesday, Bimp was still getting at it. We had our episode of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays where they interviewed Drake Rowe, right? He came on talking about the credit search, financial services, all of that. Make sure y'all get at that episode and check out and get your weekly dose of knowledge, wisdom, information. T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays is always coming with it, but so is Bim. That's why tonight here on Bimp on the Spot, we got our friend of the show. He's been on here multiple times. You've seen him. He always comes with the sauce. He's always bringing the juice. My man, Eric Dungy. We about to get into it tonight. Every time he comes, he's always bringing it, and we're about to bring it again tonight. So without any further ado, friends, family, remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get it.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
I'm Eric Dungy, and I've been a real estate professional in the Tampa area for the last 6 years. I think the key to helping first-time home buyers is you got to put yourself in their shoes. So I try to proactively help them answer the questions that they're looking for. My dad's a Hall of Fame football coach, so I kind of grew up in the NFL locker rooms, and it's been really cool to kind of parlay some of my football relationships into business contacts. And I've worked with a lot of professional athletes, helping football, basketball, and baseball players find their dream homes. It's all about helping them find out what's best for them and doing right by your clients. All right, cool, awesome. I'll write it up, I'll send it to you. Okay. I got in real estate really just to help people. Okay. I don't see myself as a salesman. I'm all about relationships, so I just really love what I do. I can't say that enough.
I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way
up. Eric, how you doing, man? Now, don't act like I ain't noticed that fresh twist that you had in there, man.
Man, I'm doing good. Thank you. First and foremost, thank you for having me on the show. I believe this is my third time, and I feel like I'm family at this point, so thank you for having me back.
Oh, you know it, bro. Anytime you want to come on, you're welcome. And I'm glad that you accepted our invitation to come back because it's always up when you come through, man.
Absolutely. And yeah, people that know me the most know that I don't always keep a fresh retwist. So for the fact that I was on TV, I had to go get right. I had to get tightened up a little bit. You know, looking too crazy on national TV. So I had to take care of myself a little bit.
Now you done put me on blast. I got to do the same with mine. Hey, I'm spanking a little bit. I just got out here to Cali. I'm still trying to find, who can do it the way that they do it back there in Florida. Because, I don't let anybody touch my hair. You know how it is.
Exactly. You get it. I don't even have to explain it to you. You can't just let anybody trust your hair. If you don't trust yourself, you can't twist my hair. So it's like you gotta prove it on your own hair before you can touch mine. And you don't try somebody new. It takes a little bit.
I'm gonna have to see a portfolio. I can't see you out here saying you can do something. You really experimenting.
You gotta show me.
You gotta show me. So, hey, so we know you've been busy. I mean, we put your social media on here. Everybody's just watching, probably follows you. You understand what I'm saying? What has Eric Dungy been up to, and what are his goals and plans for 2023?
Ooh, two good questions. Yeah. I really took some time at the end of last year, end of 2022, to kind of wind down a little bit. Thankfully, the real estate market had kind of slowing down at that point, but it's been full speed ahead. Today is January 26th. It's been like 24 straight days. I just let's go get it since January started. So I don't always choose when the market gets hot, but when it's hot, you just got to be ready to go respond and be there for your clients. So I've been getting it. And basically, though, my goals for the year, I don't have a concrete number goal. I want to sell this many houses or this many millions or anything like that. But for me, I'm just I kind of have the vision of my ideal client and the ideal life I want to live. So I'm just like every day I'm like, how can I like take steps further to be living that life? Like how can I do the things I enjoy doing, and how can I minimize the things I don't like to do? How can I kind of like combine that two into like a life vision and a vision? So that's kind of like my 2023 goal, just to try to align my vision with my life and how I want to live and maximize that.
And like I said it when you first came in. You know, there's always something to talk about as far as real estate goes, because it's always changing, especially the luxury real estate market. What changes have you noticed in 2022, and what are you expecting in the market for 2023?
Yeah, so the market's always shifting. So 2022 was a crazy year, another year for the most part where things really rose. Interest rates kind of peaked in about July, and so from the first half of the 2022 was just like a frenzy. It was just bidding wars left and right. You know, it was just like nonstop. Houses were just, going over asking, going one day on the market, things like that. And then the rates got to a point where like buyers were just like, hey, we're sick of this. We're not paying no more money, basically. So from like, July, August until, November, December, things really started to slow down. All of a sudden you saw the price reductions. You saw homes in the market a little bit. Even my listings weren't selling. But then for whatever reason, I don't know if it was like New Year's resolutions or just people just got refocused after the holidays. But I've noticed in January in Tampa, and again, real estate is very, it's hyper local, but in Tampa, I've noticed like a big pickup. So buyers and sellers, I think the rates coming back down. They're about 6% now, so they're a little more tolerable for buyers. Mm-hmm. The rates are lower. The sellers are more realistic as far as what's a realistic price for their house. So it's created a balanced market where there's a lot of activity. You can still get a good deal. If you're a buyer, if you're selling a premium product, you can still get a top asking price. So I like where things are at in the real estate market right now.
Hey man, that's awesome. And you know I'm gonna ask you about it. We took a clip from it in your intro now. First time home buyers. How did that happen? Like you went from working kind of with Compass almost behind the scenes. You slowly seen yourself kind of rise to the limelight of the real estate industry. So like, what is that like? How did this happen? How did this come about? Like, how did this develop into what it is?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and it was very just organic and kind of out the blue. I don't know if people have seen the show or watched any of those similar shows. I grew up watching, House Hunters and some of those Flipper Flop, some of those fun real estate shows. And you always kind of think like, I wonder how they find the people. Like, how do they, how do they
TV?
Right. When do the cameramen come into play or whatever? And then like one day I got a call from the casting director, and they're like, hey, we're filming a season in Tampa. We came across your profile. Like we look kind of, we like what we see, and we want to follow you, one of your clients, around. And I'm just like me, like, what I mean? So it was just surreal that they chose me out of, I don't know how many thousands of realtors are in Tampa, right? But they chose me, and it was a really cool experience. Kristen, my client, was amazing. She was a great client to have in the show, and was able to kind of go with the flow of being filmed and things like that. But it was a really cool experience.
Now, who was the first person that you called when you found out that she was going to be doing the show? Who was the first person you called?
That's a good question. I can't remember, because part of it was like with shows, it's like you can't tell anybody for such a long time.
Yeah.
So, we filmed the show probably almost a year ago at this point. Wow. And then we had to sit on it for a while. Maybe 6 months ago, I should say. But we filmed it a good amount of time ago, but then we couldn't really say anything about it. So I remember like getting the call and being like, "Oh, that's crazy," and then be like, "All right, can't really tell anybody though. Got to keep it on the DL." I'm probably told a couple people, but like honestly, because I was like I was like, "Hey, I can't mess this up. I can't."
Yeah.
I would decide to keep it to myself until it aired.
Man, that's excellent, bro. I mean, I was shocked. I'm like, what? I'm like, no doggone way. I'm sitting here looking at this. I'm like, there's no way.
That's how I felt.
You remember I DM'd you? I'm like, bro, this is crazy. When did you do this? I'm like, bro, this is awesome, man. And I was like, I can't, because, especially doing what you do and doing it as long and as well as you have, that has to be a gratifying feeling.
Definitely. It's a cool feeling. I remember, just like everybody, when you first get into real estate, everybody takes the same class, and you start and everybody starts at the same level. And, for your first year, you're trying to establish yourself. And then, fast forward a couple years, just to kind of like be like, oh man, people are really kind of starting to see me as, an upper echelon realtor, or at least a standout realtor. It's just a cool feeling, It's especially when you're in the grind so much, you're just day by day, you're just trying to help your clients, you're trying to do what you got to do. sometimes you don't take the time to kind of stand back and smell the roses a little bit. So it was a kind of a surreal experience, and I got to watch it on the episode aired on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but I got to watch like with my family on Christmas. That was cool. And I had a watch party with some of my clients at the Buck Stadium, so that was cool as well. So just want to stop and just like enjoy the cool moments instead of just always being on the grind.
Yeah, man, it's that has like, and I remember how I'm looking at, I'm like, man, I'm so happy for him. I'm like, dude, knowing all the work that you do and how hard you work for your clients, like, because that's a huge thing. A lot of people, and one of the things that I was told this morning is like, you have to have like a service mindset where it's like, I want to put my client in the best position to not only succeed, but to do well and to live well. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you do that so well and you spend so much time putting other people's needs before yours, because really that's what you're doing in your industry. You're focused on somebody else's needs and getting them where they want by getting them what they want, getting what you want or what you need. Right. So like now being able to look at it and be like, wow, like this is where I am.
No, it's amazing. And like you said, like you really have to, like, service is the word I heard, and that's what really stood out to me. And that's like, you really have to have a servant's heart in this industry, because you're putting other people's needs first. Sometimes you're telling people not to buy something, even though like you could be making a commission, but you don't think it's a good deal for them, or things like that. But then just to kind of get a little reward on the back end and kind of get some acknowledgement, it's kind of cool just to be like, hey, like the work you've been putting in for the last 6-7 years, even if you don't notice, even if you feel like people don't notice, they are noticing, they are appreciating it. So like you said, it was very gratifying to kind of have that moment.
Now, was there a learning curve for you when they started filming? Were you kind of like, oh, like?
Absolutely. I mean, like, I'm more of an introvert. I can obviously get a little excited, especially when I'm in real estate. I like houses, I like real estate, so I get a little energy. But my natural energy and like what they want for the shows are like two different levels. I'm walking the house and like, hey, Kristen, like, this is pretty cool. What do you think? And they'd be like, nah, you gotta do that way more energy. Do it, me. And I'm like, man, I thought I had energy, like, so. I
thought I was going crazy right there. I'm kind of out of breath.
This is as happy as I can get.
Yeah, how it got you thinking, it's like, dang, you need an Adderall or something to get
And then times we were filming in like, I think it was June or July. So like, you're outside typically in real life, so to quote unquote real life. I'm in the car with the client or whatever. We pull up to the house. It's air conditioning in the car. It's air conditioning in the house, and we're gonna like drive from like the car to the house and just walk in the driveway real quick. Mm-hmm. But then on the TV show, when you're outside in the driveway getting filmed for like 20 minutes, like all of a sudden you start sweating and stuff like that. You gotta hide the salt under the pressure, and do the extra layers of deodorant. And
get caught lacking. They be like, is that a sweat stain on TV?
Right. You're on TV, man, so you got to come correct. Honestly, people gave me a hard time because I don't know if you saw in the first scene where I'm in my office. My fingers are actually pretty dirty, so I'm helping for your nails, man. You look like got to clean things out.
You're like, hey, you look like you've been digging through some dirt. Hey, you just be like, listen, in real estate, you got to get your hands dirty.
Get your hands dirty. Get my hands dirty. It's a good thing.
You got to get your hands dirty. I mean, so I also noticed have you begun designing actually houses for new constructions?
Yes, that's one thing I've kind of got into, something I've kind of wanted to do for a while, and it's crazy. One of my college teammates, Jordan Duvall, we were both USF football players together, and we both took entrepreneurship classes together. And so we just both have a desire for investing and interest in real estate. And so we purchased a plot of land together, and we're going through the process of designing it and building a spec home. And we're talking about learning experiences, man. Like building a home from scratch, like, bro, just the permitting, the codes. You're learning about what trees you can cut down, setbacks, engineering, architecture. Like I'm learning a lot right now, and I'm doing that kind of on the side while I do my real estate during the day. So I'm kind of doing that like on that's my 5 to 9, I guess you could say, is doing my own house. So I'm learning a lot, and it's keeping me busy for sure.
Man, that's excellent, bro. Like, I mean, at what moment did you decide, okay, this is the right time, right? Because you said it's something that you always want to do. At what moment did it just click? Yeah, now it's time to do it.
Yeah, we really just found a great opportunity on a piece of land that we bought. It's a lot over near Armature Works near Tampa Heights. It's just an area that I feel confident in that it's going to keep growing. But my business partner Jordan, he's very aggressive. He's always looking for deals, and so he's always pitching deals to me. And I'm a little bit more conservative, so I'm like, I don't know about this one. At the right time, but he brought one to me, and I was like, you know what? This actually looks pretty good. Like I think it's one of those things where like. When you know, so you look at the numbers like, actually, I like this. This looks like this could be a winner here. So it was just kind of one of those things. It wasn't like a crazy moment, but I was just kind of like, actually, I think we need to go ahead and lock this one up. So, put the money together to get the down payment, and now here we are.
Man, that is awesome, bro. And I seen the sketches and seen what it looked like, and I was like, I showed my parents. I'm like, look at what he doing. They're like, that is nice. It's nice, isn't it? Like, nah, man. It's like and like your imagination, like, right? Is it something like you were building this concept over time, right?
Yeah.
So how did, like, because I'm a chef, right? So like you walk through the store and you see certain things like ooh that. So over time, like you sort of like, okay, these are all the things that I've seen. I'm going to put it together and I'm going to make this meal with it. Is that kind of like the same thing that happened for you with the home?
Yeah. So it's been like a collaborative process, and like part of it's like I've had different kind of just general visions of like houses in my mind of like, oh, okay, if I lived on this type of property, I'd want to build a house like this and this. So I have a certain kind of like template of a house in my mind. And then once we bought the land and like, all right, it's got to fit within these 4 lines here, you start to kind of do that. And then my partner Jordan and I, as we're kind of going through different real estate magazines and looking online, looking at different websites, we're kind of getting a vision board basically of like, oh, okay, this flooring, with this color scheme and this lighting, and then okay, we can do this kind of window and this. So we're just kind of like, you have a big picture idea, and then you have like a vision board, and then you're putting it together. It's a small process, but the initial sketch was like just a piece of paper, like me sketching on a piece of paper, and then that turned into like a 3D computer model, which turned into like a floor plan. And then Jordan's giving me advice and giving me his input, and he's doing a lot with like the selections and the finishes. So it's been a cool process to collaborate and kind of just build something from scratch, basically.
Hey, so I've been having this debate. With a couple of my friends for a hot minute now because, eventually I'm going to be looking at buying my own house. Remember, I talked to you a little bit earlier about this,
I'm here for you, man.
You know about it. But practicality and usability or the look of it, like how nice it looks. Which one do you value more?
That's a great question. But I would say ultimately practicality and usability and feasibility, that matters. They have this kind of saying in like architecture, like form over function, where like a lot of times things look real nice and they're real wavy, they're real modern, sleek and sexy, but you're like, man, like I can't sit in this chair, or this bed's not comfortable, or like, this floor plan is cool, but it doesn't make sense in real life or whatever. So it's cool to have a sexy design, but like if you can't use it, especially when it comes to a house, if it's not comfortable or it doesn't make sense, it's like, what are we doing here?
Exactly. I'm in the same way because I be looking at kitchens and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm a chef, so I'm in the kitchen. Yeah. I'm like, bro, like that's a cool looking handle and all, but when I go to turn, like I want to be able to, just kind of grab it. I can't really do that. Like a lot of people, we living in an era where people, they want with their eyes, right? And they don't really think about usability. So when you're actually building something from the ground up, that sort of comfortable medium of being able to have sort of that eye candy, but at the same time making it usable, that was sort of, I wanted to get the opinion of someone who's actually building a house as to what they thought about that. Because I feel like it's a big part of our society now.
Yeah, and to your point, like you can see things visually that you think would be like an attractive design, but then the functionality, like you mentioned being a chef, so like you're designing a kitchen and you have, all right, I'm just gonna throw some countertops and a refrigerator and a washer and dryer, but then you're like, wait a second, like if the washer and dryer is the dishwasher is way over here and the cabinets are way over here, that don't really make any sense. Or like if they're too close together and you open the refrigerator and the dishwasher and they hit each other, like so you gotta. So you have to kind of map out, like, all right, like, does this make sense? Can I grab my silverware over here and put them away over there? How far is the dishwasher from the cabinets? How far is the dishwasher from the refrigerator? So it's like you got to really like walk through and does this make sense? Can I use this? Can I live here?
It's all the objections, right? Thinking about everything that someone who walks through the house, what they might say, this area is a little too narrow, or I can't walk through here while the fridge door is open. I can't walk through, so it doesn't make sense. If the door is open, I can't walk through. Different things like that. You don't really think about it. Like you don't really things that you don't normally think about, but things that you subconsciously do. Like I have to close the door in order to walk by, right? But you don't really think about that when you're building the house,
right? Exactly.
And so all of those things, like that's the part of the complexities of sort of building it. So like definitely you gotta have it when you actually like when this thing starts getting going. You definitely gotta like walk us through the process of how everything go through like the entire process from foundation to completion, like everything that went into it, because it's an excellent project, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe on the next visit, I can come back and kind of show you the whole process, the whole journey, and I'll tell you all things I continue to learn throughout the whole process. But yeah, it's like you really got to put yourself.
It's being so loud, but
I
can't
like, for example, like
am I gonna use it
or a shower, right? Things like that.
Hold on, producer, you're coming through. Okay, go ahead. My apologies. Go back through it. Go over what you said. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, and the whole thing is you really got to like you said, put yourself in the other people's shoes. Like for example, like say you're designing the second bathroom, and am I going to put a bathtub or a shower in there? Is the buyer going to have children? Is it going to be an adult? Things that you wouldn't ever think about. You're like, I don't even care about the second bathroom. It's not mine. But it matters. You just got to really think and like really just be calculated before you make that decision. And once you go, you got to pay for things. So then you got to pay for things to change them. So you got to really be sure about things.
Exactly. I mean, that's the wild part of it is like, people understand like when the house is done, but they don't understand all the information and all the small little details that goes into it. Where, like you said, having a service mindset, because a lot of times, I'm sure it can be easy, and we do it a lot of times as chefs too, where it's like, well, it tastes good to me,
right?
where it's kind of hard. It's like, well, it looks good to me. I like this, but you're not really thinking about the people that you're serving. So you have to have the kind of that service mindset, that comfortable medium. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. Like it doesn't necessarily matter what you think. Like, yes, you are the professional. And so your opinion, does have some weight, but ultimately we're working for the client. And so like what they think and what they're doing, that's what really matters the most. And so you have to kind of reflect and stop and like humble yourself and like, remember that at the end of the day.
Exactly. I mean, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to let you go. I know you're a very busy man. But as always, I appreciate you coming on. You're always one of the best shows of the season. It always goes smooth. Everything we always come in right at the same wavelength, bro. It's always smooth when you come on the show, man.
Thank you, man. I love catching the vibes with you. So I'll be back next season and whenever you'll have me. But I appreciate it.
For sure, man. We're always glad to have you, man. All love. I appreciate you, man. Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in to this episode with Eric Dungy. He's a friend of the show. He's always coming on. We've had him on 3 times. His 3rd time coming on. And we're going to have him again next season just because, he's always one of the best interviews of the year. He's always exciting. He's always got new information for us. And he's headed to the top of this game. You guys see it. He's working. He's grinding. And it's an inspiration for everybody. If you're doing what you're doing and you're doing what you love, listen, don't let nothing stop you from doing that. Innovation comes with time, right? And he took his time. He learned the industry. He did his thing. So y'all go and do the same thing. All you Black business owners, I know there's a lot of our people that are going into the real estate industry. You can do what he's doing, right? Same thing. Like he said, everybody starts out at the same level. You just have to have the mindset and the perseverance when things are going well and when things aren't going well to push through and make your way. All right. So I want to remind you all, don't forget next week, we have a new episode of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. Make sure you tune into that because it's always, they're always coming with the tea, always bringing the wisdom to inform you on how to be a better business owner, how to be a better individual, and how to build yourself into a legacy, right? And you can always come back here. We're going to be back next week with another episode of Bimp on the Spot. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening, your night, the middle of the day, wherever you are in the country. We appreciate you. Thank you for support. Thank you for our love. Have a good day. Good night.